4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 2, 3, 4. Uh-oh. Nothing happened on 2. You did. But nothing happened on 2.
Okay,
and I have too many, I have the whole back line like this. You could go down to go out, you can go forward, you can go back. I mean, this one sort of things you could do. And you have 2 legs to choose from. All right, so let's try that again. Here we go, stay close. 5, 6, 7, 8. Feet, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 3, 2, 3, 4. Here we go. Now. Ride the Culture Loop was actually one of the earliest Sokolow pieces that I did, because we did Dreams and then Ride the Culture Loop those years.
Yes.
And yes, so and it was also the first piece that I assisted directing, because I assisted Lori up at Barnard College when she cited there after we had done it. Mm-hmm. So I actually asked Jim if we could put it back in the repertory, because I think it's a really good way for the young Sokolow dancers to learn all the basics of Sokolow technique without worrying about the dancing part. So they have to learn the drama and the timing and the style, but it's not so physically technical in that dancey sort of way that that gets in the way of the rest of what they're doing. So it's harder than it looks, but it gives them a really good base, and it's really fun and shockingly timely for 2016.
It is. Actually, a lot of the younger dancers felt that it was timely, even though they weren't around in the 70s. They can relate it to now.
We're circling back again.
Yeah, with the fads that go around and how fast everything changes and how everyone's searching for the next big thing.
Yeah. So it's been really fun, and the dancers are great to work with because they're taking all kinds of risks and they're throwing themselves into it and they're trying, and it's been a great experience. I did learn it in the 90s, and I was less...
What did it mean? How did you relate to it when you learned it?
Oh, that's a really good question. I think that I learned it abstractly first, because I had come from a background of that, and then I had to figure out the sort of meaning in the movement. And I definitely had less of a sense of the 70s, but all of you guys were so of that. There were enough of you that would say, oh, remember when? That I kind of picked up from you on a lot of that. And Lori would tell a lot of stories while she was directing. And she used a lot of images that I felt like it didn't matter what era it was. But in terms of that looking for the next thing, I definitely wasn't the era of that, because I'm not now, which is like that. And the 80s were a whole other, I grew up in the preppy 80s, which was a different era. So I feel like I had to imagine it and get a lot of advice from you and Ellie and Clarence and those of you who had more to say about the era than I did. I think this generation of dancers has a very tough time memorizing the length of a phrase, that their sense of timing. We used to have to do improvs and work, especially when I was at Nikolai Lewis, about doing something in the same amount of time, or doing two things that took the same amount of time. And I think for these dancers, it's a struggle when I say, go all the way to the end and then stop, and then all the way to the end and then stop, and they're never sure really how long that phrase is.
Yeah.
And that is actually the one skill that I feel like is a generational difference.